Hi everyone, I'm Helen from Susan's family. Today I'll show you a palm blouse. For this electronic tutorial, you can search for susud.com to view it. The blouse comes in both long sleeves and short sleeve styles. The making method is the same for both. It consists of the front pieces, back piece, and sleeves, openwork decorations, and edging. First, crochet the front and back pieces and the sleeves separately. After completing them, pick up the V-shaped areas on the front and back pieces for crocheting the openwork decorations. Then, join the corresponding parts of the front and back pieces with the sleeves. Finally, pick up the stitches around the collar, cuffs, and hem for crocheting the edging. Let's start with crocheting the front piece. It consists of the body, the left and right chest pieces. The left and right here refer the actual left and right when wearing it. Crochet from the bottom upwards sequentially. Let's start crocheting the body first. Here, we will explain the body in two sections, section 1 and section 2. Use a foundation chain to start. Then crochet back and forth along this row upwards. The stitches used include chains, single crochets, double crochets, and slip stitches. Since the piece uses a rather special yarn, it is not easy to undo during the process. I suggest you watch my demonstration first, or use the yarn at home to learn the method. Please watch me demonstrate the specific crocheting method. To make it easier for everyone to see clearly, I will demonstrate using cotton yarn. The colors are random. For specific yarn, color schemes, and hook sizes, please refer to the detail page and the paper charts of the corresponding product. Start with a foundation chain. Hang the yarn with your left hand. Begin crocheting. Refer to the chart for the exact number of starting chains. After completing this, the foundation chain is done. My sample has fewer stitches. Move on to H1. Start with 3 chains as the beginning chain. These 3 chains count as 1 double crochet. At the same time, match it with the last chain of the foundation chain below. Crochet 1 chain for an spacer. Skip 1 chain. Pick up the adjacent chain. That is, the 7th chain counting from right to left here. Pick up 1 strand of yarn. Work 1 double crochet. Make 1 chain as a spacer. Skip 1 chain below. Pick 1 strand of yarn above the adjacent braid. Work 1 double crochet. Make 1 chain as a spacer. Crochet 1 double crochet. Alternate with 1 chain. After completing each chain, skip 1 chain below. Repeat this process. Continue crocheting. Finish this chain. Skip 1 stitch below. There is 1 chain remaining below. Correspondingly make 1 double crochet. This completes H1. This side is the right side of the piece. The starting tail of the yarn is on the left side. Meanwhile, the texture is relatively clear. The texture on the wrong side is comparatively blurry. Now let's start H2. Begin with 1 chain as the beginning chain. This is the beginning chain for single crochet. It doesn't count as 1 stitch. Then turn the piece counterclockwise. Work into the edge double crochet stitch. When crocheting on the wrong side, the stitch is located at the upper left. Make one single crochet here. With a chain, continue to pick up the adjacent double crochet stitch. Make one single crochet. With a chain, continue picking up the double crochet stitch. Make one single crochet. This row is all about inserting into double crochet stitches. I won't go into detail for the following steps. Then make one chain. Pick up the adjacent double crochet and make one double crochet. With a chain, crochet 3 double crochets evenly, with a chain between double crochets. After completion, continue with one chain, then crochet 2 single crochets evenly, with a chain in between. Continue with one chain. I consider the position from the double crochet to this chain as one group. Next is just repeating this group. Let me demonstrate it again. Start by making 4 double crochets first, with a chain between them. After completion, make 2 single crochets separately. There is one chain on the left, right, and in between of the 2 single crochets. Another group is completed. Continue crocheting according to the method of one group. After finishing the last group, there are still the one chain and beginning chain remaining. Here, pick up the beginning chain to crochet. Find the third chain of the beginning chain, which is the 5th chain counting upward from below. Insert into the 2 strands of yarn on the back of this chain. Make one single crochet. The beginning and ending of this row correspond. It's exactly 3 single crochets. At this point, H2 is completed. Crochet H3. Start in the same way as the previous row. Make one chain to start. Turn over. Then pick up single crochets. Work 3 single crochets evenly, with a chain between single crochets. After completing, continue crocheting 5 chains. Then find the chain space in the middle. of the 4 adjacent double crochets. Pick up the corresponding chain space from H1 below. Work 1 slip stitch here. The chart shows an oval shape here. This means the slip stitch does not need to be tightened. After completing, continue with 5 more chains. Go back to the top of the previous row. Pick up the left single crochet and work a single crochet, 1 chain between single crochets. I consider the 5 chains up to this point as one group in this row. I'll demonstrate it again. Start with 5 chains. Then pick up the space below the middle space of the 4 double crochets. Work 1 slip stitch. After completing, continue with 5 chains. Go back to the top and pick up the single crochet, then work a single crochet, 1 chain between single crochets. This completes another group. Then continue crocheting using the same method for each group. After completing the last group, crochet 1 chain, then pick up the edge single crochet, and work a single crochet. The beginning and ending of this row match correspondingly. H3 is completed. Continue with H4. The method is exactly the same as H2. Start with 1 chain as your beginning chain. Turn over. Then work 3 single crochets evenly. 1 chain between each 2 single crochets. After completing, continue with 1 more chain. Then, at the position behind the chains from the previous row, pick up the corresponding double crochets from H2 and work a double crochet in each, 1 chain between them. After finishing the double crochet section, continue with 1 chain, then pick up the single crochet from the previous row, and work a single crochet, 1 chain between and on both sides. Next, you'll need to work double crochets. Again, at the position behind the chains from the previous row, pick up the double crochets from H2 and work the double crochets. 1 chain between and on both sides. When you encounter a single crochet, work a single crochet, 1 chain between and on both sides. Then, following this method, continue crocheting. After finishing the single crochets on the edge, H4 is completed. Now, crochet H5. The method is exactly the same as H3. Start with 1 chain as your beginning chain. Turn over, pick up the single crochets below and correspondingly make single crochets. 1 chain in between. When you reach the single crochet from the previous row, here you will crochet 5 chains. Then pick up the next 4 double crochet stitches, correspond to the space underneath the middle space. Work 1 slip stitch. Continue with 5 chains. Then pick up the single crochet and correspondingly make single crochets, 1 chain in between. When you encounter the double crochet, first crochet 5 chains. Then work a slip stitch into the space underneath the middle space. After completing, continue with 5 chains. When you reach the single crochet, correspondingly make single crochets, 1 chain between single crochets. Follow this method, and continue crocheting. Finish the last single crochet. H5 is completed. The crocheting method for the remaining rows will be the same as the first 2 rows when you need to make double crochets. At the back of the chains, pick up the double crochet and work it. When you encounter the double crochet from the previous row, work a slip stitch in the corresponding chain space below the middle space. Crochet 5 chains on both the left and right sides. For all other single crochets, work corresponding single crochets, 1 chain between them. Continue following this method to complete the rows of section 1 of the body. While crocheting, if you need to join a new yarn, simply tie a knot to join the yarn. I'll demonstrate with this sample. After completion, place the yarn tails on the wrong side of the piece. Leave it for now. And continue crocheting. This is the method for joining yarn. After completing, move on to crochet section 2 of the body. Here, there's simply 1 less column of single crochets and chains at the beginning and end. The stitches in the center remains the same as before. Let me demonstrate the method with this sample. Start by making 1 beginning chain, turn over and pick up the chain spaces to the left. Work 1 slip stitch to carry the yarn across. After completing, continue with 1 beginning chain. Then pick up the adjacent single crochet, and work a single crochet. Continue by crocheting 1 chain for spacing. Then work 1 single crochet. The stitch pattern continues as before. Refer to the previous section or the chart as you proceed. Keep crocheting until there is 1 single crochet and 1 chain left. When you reach the corresponding position, leave the remaining stitches unworked. This way, both the beginning and end will have 1 less single crochet and 1 less chain. The beginning and end of the next row become 2 single crochets. The middle stitch pattern remains unchanged. Continue following the previous pattern, or refer to the chart for further crocheting. Complete section 2 of the body. This concludes the explanation of the body. Next, we will crochet the chest piece. Here, we continue with the previous yarn tail. Start by crocheting the right front chest piece. The new stitches used here are half double crochet, DC tog, and SC2 tog. Please watch as I demonstrate. First, crochet H1. Here, I will use this sample to demonstrate the method. The number of stitches and rows are not for reference. Start by continuing with the previous yarn tail, then correspondingly crochet double crochets and single crochets, with one chain as a spacer between them, and on both sides. Keep crocheting until you reach the center of the body section. The area before the two single crochets should be double crochets, and this double crochet area will be left unworked for now. When you reach the corresponding position, crochet 3 double crochets evenly into the next stitches, with one chain as a spacer on both sides. After completing, move to the adjacent double crochet, and crochet 1/2 double crochet. Then, pick up the single crochet, and crochet 1 single crochet. Leave the rest unworked. That completes H1. Now move on to H2. Start with one chain as your beginning chain. Turn over. Pick up the single crochet and crochet single crochet. Then work 4 chains. Then, pick up the chain space below the center space, between the adjacent half double crochet and double crochet, and work a slip stitch there. Then work 5 chains. Continue following the previous pattern on the body, or refer to the chart for corresponding work. Finish with the edge single crochet. H2 is now complete. Next, let's work on H3. The method is similar to H1. First, follow the chart and crochet until just before the last double crochet. When you reach the corresponding position, crochet 3 double crochets into each stitch, with one chain on both sides. After finishing the third double crochet, there's no need to work any more chains. Directly pick up the half double crochet, work 1/2 double crochet. Pick up the adjacent single crochet and work a single crochet. That's how you complete H3. Now move on to H4. Start with one chain as your beginning chain. Turn over. Pick up the single crochet and work a single crochet. Then work 3 chains. Next, pick up the space below the middle space of the adjacent 4 stitches. Work 1 slip stitch. Then work 5 chains. Continue crocheting according to the previous pattern, or refer to the chart. Finish the edge single crochet. H4 is now completed. Next, start working on H5. Refer to the chart and crochet until just before the last double crochet. When you reach the corresponding position, work 2 double crochets in each corresponding stitch. Separate them with 1 chain. After completing, continue with 1 more chain. Then pick up the adjacent double crochet and half double crochet. Crochet a DCH tog. Start by working an incomplete double crochet in the double crochet. Yarn over, insert, yarn over and draw through. Then yarn over and draw through the first 2 loops. There are 2 loops remaining on the hook. That's an incomplete double crochet. Pick up the adjacent half double crochet, and work an incomplete half double crochet. Yarn over, insert, yarn over and draw through. That's an incomplete half double crochet. Now there are 4 loops on the hook. Yarn over, and draw through once. Complete the DCH tog. Pick up the adjacent single crochet and work a single crochet. H5 is done. The methods for H6 to H8 are all demonstrated before. Just follow the chart to crochet directly. Pay attention when crocheting double crochets and half double crochets. They are both worked behind the previous row's chains. Pick up the corresponding position. After completing, work on H9. A DCH tog will be needed at the ending. Refer to the chart first. Crochet until you reach the last double crochet. I have now reached the corresponding position here. Crochet 1 chain, then work 1 double crochet. One chain. Pick up the adjacent double crochet and half double crochet. Crochet the DCH tog. Start by crocheting an incomplete double crochet, then crochet an incomplete half double crochet. Finally, yarn over, and draw through once. The DCH tog is now complete. Crochet 1 single crochet into the remaining stitch. H9 is now complete. Move on to H10 to H12. Refer to the chart and crochet accordingly. For some rows, after finishing the initial single crochet, crochet the corresponding number of chains. Then directly pick up the next single crochet and crochet. Continue and complete these 3 rows. After completion, start crocheting H13. First, refer to the chart. Crochet until reaching the last double crochet. I have already arrived at the corresponding position. Crochet 1 chain first. Then pick up and crochet a half double crochet in the adjacent double crochet. Next, pick up the half double crochet and single crochet. Work a SC2 tog. First, pick up the half double crochet and work an incomplete single crochet. Insert, yarn over and pull through. There will be 2 loops on your hook. This is an incomplete single crochet. Continue with another incomplete single crochet in the adjacent stitch. Insert, yarn over and pull through. Now there will be 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over again, and draw through once. This completes the SC2 tog. At the same time, H13 is now finished. For the following rows, refer to the chart and complete H14. After completing, crochet H15. First, refer to the chart. Crochet until you reach the half double crochet in H13. I have now reached the corresponding position. Work 1 chain for spacing. Then pick up the half double crochet and the single crochet from the previous row. Work a SC2 tog. Start by crocheting 2 incomplete single crochets separately. Yarn over, and draw through all the loops on your hook. The SC2 tog is now complete. H15 is finished. Continue crocheting. The method for the remaining rows has been explained before. You can simply follow the chart to crochet. Since the last 8 rows require leaving some parts unworked, the starting position will change. I'll demonstrate the method for the last 8 rows using this sample. First, crochet the 8th row from the end. This row will start with 1 less single crochet and chain. Start by making 1 chain as your beginning chain. Turn over. Pick up the chain space on the left, and work 1 slip stitch to carry the yarn across. Then make 1 chain to begin. Pick up the adjacent stitch and make 1 single crochet. Continue crocheting correspondingly. Once completed, the explanation for the 8th row from the end is finished. Move on to crocheting the 7th row from the end. Refer to the chart and keep crocheting until you reach the last slip stitch that is indicated on the chart. Leave the remaining stitches unworked. This concludes the explanation for the 7th row from the end. Now move on to crocheting the 6th row from the end. Since the starting position is a bit far from the yarn tail, we will use the carrying yarn technique to bring the yarn across. First, stretch the loop on your hook. Remove the hook from the loop. Then, pass the skein piece through the loop. Slightly tighten the yarn. Then turn over. Pick up the second to last double crochet from the previous row. Insert into the centered chain space. Draw the yarn through. Make slight adjustments. The tension here should not be too tight or too loose. Keep it level with the piece. Chain 1 is your beginning chain. Work 1 single crochet into the adjacent stitch. Continue crocheting according to the chart. After completing this, the explanation for the 6th row from the end is finished. Move on to crochet the 5th row from the end. The method is identical to that of the 7th row from the end. Stop when you reach the last slip stitch on the chart. Everyone, finish this row. I have already completed it here. Next, we will crochet the 4th row from the end. You will also need to carry the yarn across. Stretch the loop. Pull the skein piece through the loop. Slightly tighten the yarn. Then turn over. Locate the starting position for this row. Yarn over and draw the yarn through. Make 1 beginning chain to start. Correspondingly make 1 single crochet. From here on, refer to the chart to continue crocheting. After completing the remaining 3 rows, we'll use the same method. Everyone can refer to the chart to finish crocheting. After finishing the last row, you need to fasten off the yarn. I'll demonstrate the method. First, make 1 chain to secure. Leave a little yarn tail. Cut the yarn. Pull tight. Hide the yarn tail on the wrong side of the piece. You can hide a few more times. That concludes the explanation for crocheting the right front chest piece. The left front chest piece is done using the same method. You need to rejoin the yarn to start. Here, I'll demonstrate with a sample. Place H1 of the right front chest piece with the right side facing you. This means working on the wrong side of the piece. Then, locate the 2 single crochets that are centered on the body. Join the yarn on the left single crochet. Make a slip knot with the yarn. Pull it through. Adjust slightly. That's how you complete joining the yarn. Then, chain 1 to start. Correspondingly, make 1 single crochet. From here, refer to the chart for the rest of the stitches. At the beginning of H5, there will be a DC tog. This method is opposite to the one worked before. Let me demonstrate. Start by working an incomplete half double crochet. Then, pick up the adjacent stitch, and work an incomplete double crochet. Again, there will still be 4 loops on the hook. Yarn over, and draw through once. This completes the DC tog on this side. For the DC tog on the left front chest piece, crochet using this method. All the stitches used later have been demonstrated before. When you reach the last few rows, leave some areas unworked as well. Start by carrying the yarn across. Then, pull it out at the corresponding position. Then continue crocheting. After finishing the last row, fasten off the yarn and hide the tails. Everyone can refer to the chart to complete crocheting the left front chest piece. At this point, the crocheting for the front piece has been explained. Next, we will crochet the back piece. It is divided into the body and the 2 left and right back chest pieces. The method is the same as for the front piece. However, the number of rows in corresponding areas of the back piece differs from those in the front piece. Still start by crocheting the body. After that, continue with the previous yarn tail to crochet one of the chest pieces first. Once finished, rejoin the yarn to crochet the other chest piece. Note that when joining the yarn, it should correspond to the right side of the previous chest piece. Pick up stitches at the corresponding position. The last few rows of each chest piece will leave some areas unworked. The stitches and methods used are demonstrated in the front piece. Here, you can refer to the chart to complete crocheting. Finally, fasten off the yarn and hide the tails as usual. This concludes the explanation for the back piece. Next, we will crochet the sleeves. There are 2 types, long sleeves and short sleeves. The method is the same for both. For the short sleeve, you simply decrease a portion of the rows based on the long sleeve version. 1 new stitch is used here. It's the SC2-in-1. Please watch as I demonstrate. First, refer to the chart to start with a foundation chain, and crochet H1. I've already completed it here. The stitch count in my sample is not for reference. Continue crocheting H2 next. Here, the long sleeves and short sleeves are slightly different. Next, I will explain and demonstrate using the long sleeve as an example. On this row, you need to increase stitches at both the beginning and end. Start with 1 chain, turn over, then pick up the double crochet below. Crochet a SC2-in-1. That means crocheting 2 single crochets in the same position. 1, 2. Complete the SC2-in-1. For the rest, refer to the chart for crocheting. When you reach the last stitch, here find the 3rd chain from the beginning chain. Pick up 2 strands of yarn. Crochet a SC2-in-1. That is, make 2 single crochets in the same position. After completing this, H2 will be finished. For the following H3, just follow the chart for crocheting. Once completed, move on to crochet H4. Similarly, you need to increase stitches at the beginning and end. Start with 1 chain as the beginning chain. After turning, pick up the single crochet below and make a SC2 in 1. For the rest, refer to the chart for crocheting. When you reach the last stitch, correspondingly make a SC2 in 1. H4 will then be completed. Moving forward, everyone can refer to the chart. Continue crocheting H5 through H9. After completing, move on to crochet H10. Start with 1 chain as the beginning chain. Turn over, then pick up the edge single crochet below. Work 1 single crochet. In the same position, work 1 half double crochet. Next, pick up the adjacent single crochet and work 1 double crochet. From here on, refer to the chart for crocheting. When you reach the last stitch, crochet 1 half double crochet and 1 single crochet in the same position. That concludes the explanation for H10. Continue working on H11. Start with 1 chain as the beginning chain. After turning, work 1 single crochet. Then work 1 chain. Next, below the adjacent double crochet and half double crochet, there are 2 single crochets here. Pick up the middle position and work 1 slip stitch. From here on, continue referring to the chart for crocheting. For the ending slip stitch, it is also worked in the middle of the 2 single crochets. Below the half double crochet and double crochet, after completing, continue with 1 chain, then pick up the edge and work 1 single crochet. That completes H11. Moving forward, everyone can refer to the chart. To crochet H12. After finishing, move on to H13. Start with 1 chain as the beginning chain. After turning, work 1 single crochet, then work 1 chain. Pick up the space below the middle of the 2 adjacent stitches. Work a slip stitch. After completing, continue following the chart for crocheting. The final slip stitch is also worked below the double crochet and half double crochet. In the space between these 2 stitches. Then continue with 1 chain. Pick up the edge and work 1 single crochet. That completes H13. Moving forward, everyone can refer to the chart for crocheting. When you encounter a slip stitch that needs to be worked in the space between 2 stitches, refer to the method shown here. The chart also marks the insertion point clearly. The stitches and methods that will be used later have all been demonstrated and explained beforehand. Moving forward, everyone can refer to the chart. Just complete the corresponding rows. After finishing, fasten off the yarn and hide the tails. For short sleeves, refer to the previous demonstration. Simply follow the chart for crocheting. That concludes the explanation of crocheting the sleeves. Next, we'll work on the openwork decorations. Start crocheting at the corresponding position on the front piece. Here, I'll demonstrate the method using a small sample. Hold the front piece with the right side facing you. Then locate H3 of the left front chest piece. You can refer to the chain braid to find the position. Here, H2 has chain braid. That means it's the row just above the chain braid. Right here. Insert into the edge space. And join the yarn. For convenience in watching, I'll use a different color for the demonstration. Start with one chain. Then pick up the center chain space. At the right single crochet, work 1 double crochet. Next, pick up the adjacent left single crochet and work 1 double crochet. Then on H3 of the right front chest piece, work 1 slip stitch into the edge space. This completes H1. Now move on to H2. Start with 3 chains as the beginning chain. Then count upwards 3 rows on the right front chest piece. If you do not know where the very first stitch is, you can also look for the edge spaces. One space represents 1 row. Work a slip stitch here to secure it. Then work 2 chains as a spacer. Turn over. Then work a double crochet into the double crochet space from the previous row. After completing, work 2 chains as a spacer. Next, pick up the position where the yarn was joined on the left front chest piece. Work 1 double crochet there. Then skip 2 rows. Work 1 slip stitch in H3 to secure it. This completes H2. Continue with H3. Start with 3 chains as the beginning chain. Then count upwards 3 rows from the previous slip stitch. Work 1 slip stitch to secure it. Then crochet 3 chains as a spacer. Turn over. Pick up the centered 2 double crochets from the previous row, and work a double crochet each. After completing, make a CH3 spacer. Then work 1 double crochet on this side, at the position where it was previously secured with a slip stitch. Skip 2 rows. Work a slip stitch on H3 to secure it. This completes H3. The method for the following rows is the same as the first 2 rows. Start by making 3 beginning chains. Then, on H3 above where it was previously secured with a slip stitch, work a slip stitch to secure it. Next, crochet the corresponding number of chains. Turn over. Work a double crochet on the centered double crochet from the previous row. After that, crochet the same amount of chains as on this side. Then, pick up the slip stitch from the other chest piece, and work a double crochet. Skip 2 rows. Work a slip stitch to secure it on H3. Continue with this method for the following rows. Refer to the chart, crochet until the second to last row. After completing, work the final row. Here, I'll demonstrate with a sample. Start by making the beginning chains. Then, secure it at H2 above. Next, crochet the corresponding number of chains. Turn and pick up the double crochets to work single crochets. Then crochet the same number of chains. Next, pick up the slip stitch on the other side of the chest piece, and work double crochets. After that, secure it with a slip stitch on H2 above. Finally, cut the yarn. Leave the yarn tails for now. This concludes the explanation of the openwork decoration on the front piece. The method for the openwork decoration on the back piece is the same. However, the stitch count for H1 here becomes 3 stitches. Pick up the centered space, and the left and right single crochets on the body. When securing the beginning and ending, always leave an interval of 2 rows. Insert at H3. When securing the last 2 rows, leave an interval of 3 rows. Insert at H4. From here on, please refer to the chart for reference. Simply complete the openwork decoration on the back piece. This concludes the explanation of the openwork decoration. Next, we will proceed with the joining. First, join the shoulder and body of the front and back pieces. After completing this, join the sleeves into a tube shape. Finally, attach them to the armholes of the front and back pieces. First, join the body of the front and back pieces. Here, I will demonstrate using this small sample. Place the right sides of the 2 pieces facing each other. You can see that the edges of the piece start out wider. Then it tapers inward with a row of single crochets and chains. The joining area is in the wider part of the piece. To make the joining process easier, you can pick a few points along this section. Mark them with yarn or stitch markers. Here, I'll show you how to mark with yarn. First, cut a piece of yarn. Roughly align the pieces. Then match up the rows one by one. Count the corresponding rows. Here, you can count the single crochets along the edge. The texture of the single crochets alternates. Then draw the yarn through. Tie a knot to secure it slightly. If you have stitch markers at home, you can also use them for marking. After marking is complete, start joining. Here, I'll start joining upwards from the beginning chain. Find the chain space on the edge. This is the insertion point for the double crochets on this side. Insert. When you encounter a beginning chain, insert into the corresponding chain. By picking up 2 strands. Then join the yarn. Make 1 chain as your beginning chain. Work 1 single crochet in the same position. Crochet 3 chains. Then, add a position that is 3 chains apart. Pick up the corresponding spaces from the 2 pieces. Try to pick up the same row number for the front and back pieces here. Work 1 single crochet. Then crochet 3 more chains. Add a position that is 3 chains apart. Pick up the corresponding positions of the 2 pieces and work a single crochet. Continue with 3 chains. Proceed with crocheting in the same way as demonstrated. If you really can't see the row count clearly, you can insert at a roughly aligned position. After crocheting the marker position, the marker can be cut off. Continue crocheting. When you reach the edge, insert into the space at the edge. Work 1 single crochet. Finally, fasten off the yarn. Hide the yarn tail inside the piece. This completes the connection of one side of the body. After that, you can flip to the right side and take a look. If the spaces at the joining position are too large, you can readjust the joining position. Make sure it's joined more tightly. As long as the piece stays flat, that's fine. Complete the other side using the same method. That concludes the explanation for joining the body. Next, we will work on the shoulder joining. Start from the edge of the chest piece here. Just join it to the edge of the other side. Still use the method of crocheting a single crochet and 3 chains. Here, I'll demonstrate with this small sample. Fold the piece so that the right sides face each other, with the wrong sides facing out. Then on one edge, pick up the edge stitch to join the yarn. Make 1 beginning chain to start. Work corresponding a single crochet and 3 chains. When you encounter a chain space, insert into the double crochet above. When you come across a carried yarn, place the yarn tail above the hook and weave in it as you join. Continue joining using this method. Connect once at the edge. Finally, fasten off the yarn. Hide the yarn tail inside the piece. That's how you've joined one side of the shoulder. Similarly, if the space between joining points is too large, adjust the insertion point according to the situation. Complete the other side using the same method. That concludes the explanation of joining the shoulders. Next, we'll move on to joining the sleeves. The method is the same. Here, I'll explain using a join sample. First, fold the sleeve in half from left to right, with the wrong side facing out. Then start from the beginning chain. Correspondingly crochet a single crochet and 3 chains. Similarly, for convenience in joining, you can make marks at a few points in advance. Continue joining all the way down to the edge of the last row. After completing, don't cut the yarn. After finishing, attach it to the armhole of the front and back pieces. Here, I'll demonstrate using a small sample. The piece should all have the wrong side facing out. Then match the joining edge of the sleeve to the joining position on the top of the body. Move downward. Use yarn or stitch markers to secure a few points in round along the piece. Since my sample is small, I won't do the securing. After completing, along the armhole, roughly align the sleeve with the front and back pieces. Proceed with the joining. Start by using the tail from the sleeve. To pick up the joining position on the body, work 1 single crochet. Then crochet 3 chains. Then start joining. After finishing the connection, join to the first single crochet with a slip stitch by picking up the single crochet stitch. Finally, fasten off the yarn. Hide all yarn tails inside the piece. That concludes the explanation of how to join the sleeve. Lastly, crochet the edging. The edging is divided into neckline edging, cuff edging, and hem edging. Start with the neckline edging. Here, pick up and crochet the edges of both sides of the front piece, where no open work decoration has been crocheted. Begin by crocheting one side. Here, I will demonstrate using a sample. Place the right side of the piece facing you, then join the yarn at the last secured position of the open work decoration. Make one beginning chain to start, then pick up each row's edge spaces sequentially. Start with one single crochet. Here, crochet while weaving in the yarn tail, place it over the hook. After completing, make 2 single crochets in the next adjacent position. Continue to crochet even 3 single crochets. Make 2 single crochets in the next adjacent position. Then continue by making even 3 single crochets. And 1 SC2 in 1 alternately. When you reach a joining position, pick up the center and make 1 slip stitch. Cut the yarn. After completing, check if this part is not flat enough. Adjust the number of stitches based on the situation. That completes H1. Now move on to H2. Join the yarn at the position where the previous row ended. Start with 1 chain as the beginning chain. Pick up the single crochets from left to right. Work even single crochet. Pay attention to hiding the tail. After completing the last single crochet, at the adjacent slip stitch, pick up the chain and make 1 slip stitch. Finally, cut the yarn. Hide the ending tail to the wrong side. This completes the edging for one side of the neckline. Use the same method for the other side. Join the yarn at the joining position. Then work corresponding single crochets. Keep crocheting until just before the last slip stitch that secures the open work decoration. Then finish with a slip stitch at the securing position. After completing, cut the yarn. Next, continue with H2. Join the yarn again at the previous joining position. After finishing, fasten off and hide the tails. That concludes the demonstration of crocheting the neckline edging. Now let's move on to the cuff edging. Work single crochets as before. I'll demonstrate the method using this sample. Have the right side of the piece facing you. Locate the joining position. Join the yarn. Start with 1 chain as your beginning chain. Then pick up the insertion point for the double crochet on the left side. Work into the remaining half of the chain. Make 1 single crochet. Be mindful to hide the tails. The adjacent spot is the previously skipped chain. Correspondingly, make 1 single crochet. Continue. Pick up the insertion points for the double crochets and the skipped chains. Work single crochets evenly into each stitch. Finish with the last single crochet, slip stitch into the starting single crochet. Make sure to tighten the slip stitch here, otherwise, it's easy to end up with extra stitches. That completes our 1. Move on to our 2. Start with 1 chain. Then pick up the stitches from left to right and work single crochets evenly. Finish with the last single crochet, slip stitch to the starting single crochet. There's no need to tighten the slip stitch here. Finally, fasten off. Gently stretch the loop slightly. Leave a little yarn tail. Cut the yarn. Then start from the slip stitch. Count 2 braids from the left. Insert the hook into the back of this braid. Draw the reserved yarn tail through. Then insert into the back of the slip stitch braid. Exit from the center. Pull the yarn through. Adjust slightly. Finally, hide the yarn tail on the wrong side of the piece. That concludes the edging for one cuff. Follow the same method for the other cuff edging. That concludes the explanation for the cuff edging. Finally, work on the hem edging. The method is exactly the same as for the cuffs. You will also crochet 2 rounds of single crochets. In our 1, join the yarn at one of the joining positions. Then pick up the insertion points for the double crochets and the skip chains, and work single crochets evenly. For our 2, continue to work single crochets evenly. At the end, fasten off. Next, just complete the hem edging. At this point, the entire process of making the blouse has been fully explained. If you have any questions during the process, don't hesitate to reach us via our website, Susan's Family. Support your handwork experience. Enjoy the joy of life. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.